At WUSA 9, we are committed to reporting on the environment because of the impact it has on our community's health and, of course, our quality of life. But tonight, that impact is the toxic legacy left behind by more than a century of dumping and pollution all along the Anacostia River.
Yeah, D.C.'s Attorney General has just sued the U.S. government in an attempt to get what the feds say get the feds to pay, I should say, what the AG says is their fair share for the ongoing cleanup. But what the lawsuit reveals about some of our parklands might shock you. Here's our Scott Broom.
Langston Golf Course, Kenilworth Park, Kingman Lake and Island. These are the D.C. parks on the banks of the Anacostia that sit on top of historic dumping grounds, badly polluted by cancer-causing toxins like PCBs, chlordane, and dioxin, according to decades of sampling conducted by agencies including the National Park Service and D.C.'s Department of Energy and Environment.
More than 150 years, the federal government has been the #1 driver of pollution into the Anacostia River.
D.C. Attorney General Brian Schwab is suing.
This lawsuit seeks to hold the federal government accountable for the harms it's caused to our natural resources, to D.C. residents who've lived adjacent to the river for years, mostly Black and brown communities that live east of the river that have been most adversely impacted by the federal government's pollution. And look, the federal government's not immune from complying with the law.
According to the AG's lawsuit, for much of the 19th and 20th centuries, the Washington Navy Yard dumped industrial solvents, PCBs, and toxins related to weapons production into the river and nearby landfills. The suit also cites the U.S. Bureau of Engraving and Printing for historic dumping of untreated wastewater laden with heavy metals and toxins related to printing U.S. currency that continued until 2023. The U.S. government also operated landfills along the river. This is a historic shot of Kenilworth Park in northeast D.C. where open burning of waste was common until a 7-year-old boy playing nearby was killed in 1968. The area is now covered over and operated as a park. Langston, D.C.'s golf course for African Americans during segregation, was built on top of the waste in 1939. The pollution helps make the Anacostia mile for mile one of the most badly polluted waterways in the U.S. A $500 million sewer tunnel project opened in 2018 has made dramatic water quality improvements, but the tunnel does nothing to take care of the toxins that are buried deep in the river's muddy bottom and under riverfront park areas. Studies say the biggest threat to human health is eating fish from the river, but exposure to contaminated dust and mud are concerns, especially for cleanup workers. The Attorney General has already settled with Pepco for $57 million to compensate for the utility's role in dumping PCBs into the river. Now, a $40 million project is planned to cover contaminated river sediments with a barrier and dredge up and dispose of some other contaminated mud. Schwab says the U.S. government needs to pay too.
For almost a decade now, the District of Columbia has taken the laboring oar and borne the cost of developing a comprehensive cleanup of the Anacostia River. There will be tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars of cost to recover. And that's before you get to the question of recovering natural resource damages that the District of Columbia is entitled to for having its iconic natural resources damaged for so many years.
The U.S. government has not yet responded to the suit. Scott Broom, WU.